Okay, people. So thanks to the people, the great people at DDA, I have just been to see the lesson, right? This is the new Universal film, which is directed by Alice Troughton and written by Alex MacKeith. The film is produced by Camille Gatton, Cassandra Sigasgard, Judy Tussle, and Fabian Westerhoof. It is executive produced by Andrew Carpen, Miranda King, Jens Muir, and Kent Sanderson. Isabel Waller-Bridge handled the music. Cinematography is Anna Patacania. Paolo Pandolfo edited the piece. Dixie Chazzy and Lucy Jordan were on casting duties. Production design is handled by Seth Turner. Art decoration is Henning Jordans. Set decoration is Verena Schulzen. And Sabine Bibbs was on costume design. Hair and makeup, we have Kate Betton and Jamie Lee Weber. Our cast. Well, J.M. Sinclair is played by Richard E. Grant. His wife, Hélène, is played by the outstanding Julie Delpy. Their son, Bertie, is played by Stephen McMillan. Then there's Liam Sommers, who is played by Daryl McCormack. The Sinclair's man help butler, Ellis, is played by Crispin Letts. The interviewer we see at the very start is played by Thomas Spencer. And then there is Felix Sinclair, who we see played by Joseph Muir. So, yeah. Now, the gist of the film is this. A young author takes a tutoring position at the estate of a legendary writer. Liam, an inspiring and ambitious young writer, eagerly accepts tutor. Oh, that was a very weird. Let's go again. Liam, an aspiring and ambitious young writer, eagerly accepts a tutoring position at the family estate of his idol, renowned author J.M. Sinclair. But soon Liam realizes that he is ensnared in a web of family secrets, resentments, and retribution. Sinclair, his wife Hélène, and their son Bertie all guard a dark past, one that threatens Liam's future as well as their own. So yes, this is the film. And you know what? I've really did enjoy this. It was very interesting, right? So it's split into 3 parts. We also have a prologue and an epilogue. Now at the beginning, we see an author, J.M. Sinclair, talking about his work and, writing and all of this kind of thing. And then we go to Liam. Well, no, actually, I think the Liam bit is at the beginning, right? So we see him getting interviewed, and then it's just as he's going to answer the question, right, we then jump back to the past, because I think the question was around like where did the story come from? And so then we go to not the retelling of the story he wrote, but inspiration around it all. Which is, that's not a bad device. We've seen it before. And I think one of the big things with this film, right? We have definitely seen similar stories, right? Not told in the same way, of course, but dealing with similar subject matter. But here's the thing, right? Because it is something that J.M. Sinclair says, you know, at the start. Now, average writers attempt originality. They fail universally. Good writers have the sense to borrow from their betters, but great writers steal. And I mean, that in itself isn't new. You know what I mean? It's one of those kind of things that we hear over and over again. Like, you know what I mean? When a lot of times in sci-fi films and they're dealing with the future, right? Someone from the current day goes to the future and it's like, we were promised jetpacks, right? And flying cars. Where are they? You know, it's one of those things that we hear a lot of. So it's not anything in particularly new, but it lays the groundwork really for what we're going to see. You know, and I think with this film, you have to pay attention to things that are said. You know, there is a conversation between Bertie and Liam about what you know, actually I won't say this, then you'll know. But yes, this conversation then informs you to the possibility of something a little bit later on in the film, which I think is always intriguing. I think it happens in the third act, this revelation, and you know, and it all starts to unfold. But yeah, you know, there's a lot of detail here, which is very interesting. Because on paper, it's a lot of shits, right? The Sinclairs, they're all very arrogant, very aloof in their own ways. But you know, there's layers to them all. You know, and what we learn as the film goes on is why this defense system is there. You know, Liam, he's tutoring Bertie because Bertie is he's been accepted into Oxford, but he just has to do the interview. Right. And so I think he you know, passed the test, and Liam's like, yes, passing the test is all very good, but the interview is the hardest part. And you might think you know everything, but there's a way in which this process works, which I can help you with. And there is a lot of resistance, but we then see why, right? The film unfolds and we see why there is this resistance, why there is this arrogant shield up with everyone. Because there's a lot of sniping happening, which is, yeah, it's interesting. It's very interesting. Now, I think as it goes on, it's a bit like when you're cooking, right? You're cooking and you're adding ingredients, you know, to create a flavorsome sauce, let's say. And first you might taste it and you'll be like, okay, it's good, it's fine. But I think it needs something else. I think it needs something else. So you add some ingredients and you're like, yes, that's not bad. What else could we have here? And you add some more, right? You're enriching as we go. And that's like this film. Because the more things, elements that are revealed, the more enriching and compelling the story becomes. And even though, as I said, look, we have things that we have seen before, but this is told in a way that is compelling, right? It is satisfying. I feel you are left with a smile on your face as everything unfolds. Right? It's not a happy story necessarily, but I think and a story like this needs to end in a certain way. And I think it is satisfying the way it ends, because there are essentially two endings to this: the past and the present. So it's just like, okay, interesting. There is a thing though, during the film, an interaction between Liam and JM, where you do feel that at this point Liam should kind of know something. So then the reaction to does seem a little bit odd. A little bit odd. But other than that, but yeah, I enjoyed it. Right? There are definitely choices Liam makes, and you're just like, but surely where this goes. Like, what were you expecting to get from this thing? You know what I mean? There is some of that, but yeah, it's a dark story, but it is good. It is good. I did very much enjoy it. And it is funny with the screening. It wasn't a packed screening, which I was I was surprised by, because like it is one of those things where sometimes you think in a large audience, what would be the reaction to this? Now everyone, the people that did there, I feel they did enjoy it. But yeah, it is one where you want to have those conversations after coming out, right? Because you're like, oh, what did you think of this element? And how did you find that? You know what I mean? Like, for me, this, like, I kind of feel if you liked stuff, like I would say, right, Alice Darling, I think that is a very good film to kind of stand beside this. So yeah, I would say Alice Darling. Oh gosh. Yeah, when you have things in your head and then they just all disappear, right? That's just like, God damn it. The Menu. Yes, Alice Darling and them. If you enjoyed those films, I think you will like this. Like I think there was that Maggie Gyllenhaal film, The Kindergarten Teacher, which definitely not the same in context, but it does have a kind of a tonal resemblance to the film. Sometimes it does feel a little bit like an old school mystery, a little Agatha Christie-ish in places, but definitely, it's not an Agatha Christie film, people. It's not like that, but just a tonal, right? We use music that's heavily kind of influencing a lot of things that are going on. Lovely cinematography. I think the acting is very good because, this family, they're oi polloi, right? So there is that aloofness that they carry, but then you break that down and there's these moments of vulnerability that we see, in Bertie, as Stephen McMillan does a really good job of layering that character. Like Julie Delpy. Julie Delpy is magnificent, loved it ever since the Before trilogy. So, it's always fascinating to see the performances that she throws out there. And this was very good, really good performance. Richard E. Grant plays that cocky, arrogant, you know, author that knows everything and will cut you down, you know, if you say the wrong thing. But there are those moments of, you know, peering behind the curtain there. You know, and Daryl McCormack, it's interesting, you know, portrayal with Liam, because, you know, we see those flashes of anger, but then we see, you know, the vulnerability of not really being on, you know, that solid ground with his writing, like wanting acceptance, wanting to know that he's reached a level, you know. And then you know, there's some cockiness there. So we do get those. And Crispin Letts, Ellis isn't in it a lot, but he is very good. Ellis is a fun little character, not quite a Jeeves, but he's a very good character. So yes, all in all, I very much like the lesson. And yes, as mentioned, if you like stuff like Alice Darling, you know, you like stuff like The Menu, Triangle of Sadness, you know, those sorts of things, I think that this film will speak to you. So yes, I believe the film drops in September. You know, I have the release information on the website, so make sure you go there for the, you know, the trailer and the release and all of that jazz, people. So yes, the lesson. Let me know what you think. Right? How did this play out for you? I am very curious to find that out. All right, people, enjoy.